Welcome to this training video for the piloting and acquisition software for testing machines Califort. Let's start with the Tools menu. Click on Activation and fill in the form to activate your license. If you have a personal activation key, enter it here. In the General Settings menu, you can choose the language of the software. Choose the Califort registration path, by default in the installation folder. We recommend that you select Automatic Backup to keep a record of all your tests. Califort not only allows you to control your test machines, it also allows you to generate reports. Here you can enter your company's address and display your logo. It will be automatically displayed in your Word or PDF reports. If you are using Califort on a tablet, you will have the option to enable the virtual keyboard. We recommend that you display your results in reverse chronological order to make it easier to view your tests. Here you see the type of license, definitive or demo version. At the bottom right, you can select your machine. Now let's look at the Accounts menu. In this menu you can create and manage administrator and user account rights. Choose login and password, account type, language, backup type and your preferences for displaying results. An administrator account can create, modify and delete configurations and tests. A user account can only launch a test and publish a report, but cannot change sequences or delete tests. Now let's look at the Maintenance menu. This menu allows you to check the connection and to have an overview of the status of possible incidences, errors with your machines. Click on Equipment Connection to see if communication with the center touch is established. The center touch is responsible for the data transfer. Click Command Port Connection to see if communication with the drive pack is established. The drive pack is used to control the machine. The message at the bottom of the line is the most important and should be "The machine is ready" and "The drive pack is operational." In case of a communication error, we invite you to restart your computer and the test machine and check again before contacting us. By clicking on Acquisition Port, you can see in real time the force displacement or torque angle data by applying a force on the sensor by hand, for example. The history of your requests is shown in the bottom left corner. The error history is shown in the bottom right corner. If necessary, we may be able to send you a configuration for your machine. This will be done in this window. By clicking on Center Manager, the center touch will change its display. You can remove the overloads or change the calibration date according to your internal criteria, every year, every 2 years, etc. Overloads and calibration date appear on the center touch screen. Click Finish to apply your changes and wait for the touch to restart before you do your next test. Always remember to verify that the auto test screen has disappeared and made way for the measurement screen before running a test with Califort. This allows for optimal control and information exchange between your computer and your machine. We now go to the Compensation Profile menu. I invite you to read the details of how the profile works. Here is an example of a compensation curve. To create a new profile, click on Create. Enter the name of your profile, for example an accessory or a date. Select compression and optionally enter a description. Associate the created profile with a corresponding test. We recommend that you lower the upper part of the machine very slowly to the nearest accessory at the bottom before launching the compensation profile. This will save you time. Click on Start. Califort will apply a force at very slow speeds up to 95% of the sensor's capacity and stop automatically. The curve should be as linear as possible. If this is not the case, contact us for verification. Later, in the configuration of your tests, in the Test Setup menu, you will be able to apply the compensation profile to your test. Finally, regarding the updates, if your computer is connected to the internet, Califort will often check for the latest updates automatically. You can also search for them manually. We will now approach the configuration of a test in detail. To do so, create your test by clicking on New. Select the machine with which you want to measure. You can choose whether you want to share your configuration with all users of the computer, only administrators, or with nobody. Indicate the name of your project. You can enter a description. You can change the save path of your configuration. You access the menu Test Setup. Configure the information in the left menus. Here you can change your description, change the share modalities, and add a photo or image of your product. All the details of your configuration are summarized on the right. Click on the Equipment menu. Here you can apply the compensation profile of your choice. Change the capacity of your sensor if necessary, the units of measurement, you can change the direction of the curve, define a specific color of the force curve, change the axis of the graph, activate computer control, and change the acquisition frequency. By activating the Sample menu, you can define the size of your specimens. This menu is specifically dedicated to people wishing to define the physical characteristics of material. For more information, contact Andilog or Com10. You can deactivate it before continuing. In the Test Start End menu, you define the start and end condition for the test. The test can be started by clicking Start, when a machine movement is detected, when a force is detected, or when force and/or displacement conditions are detected. The easiest way is to start by clicking. You can choose to tear the displacement before starting the test, tear the force or the torque. You can fill in a lot number, a reference, or add a number to each test. You can pre-fill the fields. Clicking on Automatic Tear allows you to define the point 0 of the movement. Here you can define where the machine will start moving after resetting the movement. By clicking on Automatic Tear, the movement tear at the beginning of the test is automatically deactivated. We recommend that you use the sequences to return to the initial position rather than this button. You can report faulty parts which are out of tolerance and customize the error message. The Steps menu allows you to configure the test sequence in steps. Click on Add, You can choose between several options. Carry out a specific action, for example placing the part, add a timeout during the test, move the machine up or counterclockwise, move the machine down or clockwise. Let's start by indicating a user action. Let's add a step down. We determine the speed of the movement of the machine, the stopping condition, for example the force, possibly a second shutdown condition, such as a brake, and we determine whether one or both of the following conditions must be met. After each sequence, it is possible to tear the force and displacement or torque and angle. Let's complete the test sequences. My goal here is to test the spring and to exert a preload before making my measurement. Move the steps using the arrows. Choose which sequences you want to record at the end of the test by clicking on the diskette. Only step 2 to 4 will be recorded. You can add, modify or delete sequences here. Activate the cycles by clicking here. Set the number of times you want to repeat sequences. The maximum number of cycles is 255. Choose first the end sequence and then the start sequence using the summary on the right. You can see which sequences will be repeated and how many times. Let's now go to the calculation menu. Check this box if you want to see the calculation point on the report. Add new calculations. You see the list of available calculations here. You can choose as many as you want. The first 4 will be displayed on the measurement screen. Select calculation. Define whether it applies to displacement or force. Choose, for example, the level calculation to determine a force at a displacement or vice versa. You can give a custom name to your calculation. Define whether the calculation is valid or not. First, select the high limit and then the low limit, and choose the color displayed inside and outside of the boundaries. You can display the limits on the graph. Finally, let's move on the configuration of the test reports. Choose whether you want to generate a report in Word, OpenOffice, or PDF format. Select the information you wish to see on the report. Export the report in a template. Customize the PDF report as you wish. You can print a report after each test, or generate a report on demand. Choose the name of the report folder. You are now ready to perform your force and torque tests. The configuration is saved automatically when you click on Measure. Califort establishes communication with the machine. Click on this icon to set the 0 point of displacement. We recommend that you come as close as possible and at low speed to your accessory at the bottom before clicking on this icon. The machine will go down to 10% of the sensor value and tear the displacement. Califort will keep this displacement value as long as the machine or software is still running, turned on, or in operation. You can now begin your test. Indicate your batch number, a reference. The automatic incrementation is done on the right. The test begins. Validate to continue the test. The curve is visible in real time, as well as the limits of the calculations. Here you can follow the current sequence and the number of cycles in real time. At the end of the test, the result is displayed as correct or defective with the color of your choice. The bottom table shows the final results of the test. If you want to change the direction of the curve, go back to the parameter menu and reverse the axis. Incrementing is automatic. The curve is now in the right direction. When the tests are completed, you can analyze the measurement data. Click on Analyze. You can change the size of the different windows. When you click on a test in the table on the left, the corresponding test on the right is grayed out. Select it to analyze it in detail. Change the thickness of the curve. Display the detail of each point. Change the appearance of the curve. Change the appearance of the grid. Its color. You can enable or disable the ruler, which works with the markers. Click here to add markers. You can give them a personalized name. Place them on the curve. The difference in force or torque is then displayed in the ruler. You can save the markers in the button table. By clicking on this circle, you will get more detailed information about the different markers. Here you can enable or disable statistics. When you select more than one test, the mean and standard deviation are displayed. You can export the button table to Excel. Select the tests and information you wish to export and the format. The table and statistics are then available in Excel. By clicking on the blue icon, you can customize the button table. Zoom on the curve by holding down the left mouse button and release when you have selected the desired area. Zoom out by clicking on this icon or by right-clicking with the mouse. Click on the Excel logo to export all the points of the test curve of the selected line. Click on the small green plus to generate a report. Then click on the PDF or Word logo. All the information you selected in the parameter menu appears in the report. Delete a report by clicking on the red cross. You can generate a report with several tests. Select the area of the graph that interests you. Click on the plus. All information and statistics are in the report. By double-clicking on a line, you open the detail. You can add a comment and highlight a line. Here is an overview of the highlighted test line. In this table on the right, select a machine, a batch, a week or a day to see only the tests you are interested in. Start search. The corresponding tests appear at the bottom. You can select or deselect all of them. You will find the test data in a folder. Click here to open the file. You see the text files of each test. Return to the previous folder. Reports are available here. Go back to the previous folder to access the INI configuration file. I will now show you how to copy or import a configuration. Select the test you wish to copy. Click on New and from the project, the configuration is exactly the same as the test already created. You can also import a template if you have a .ini configuration file. Select the imported template and copy it. Models are also available on the internet. Consult the available templates. View PDFs. Videos. Download the configurations you are interested in. I finally show you how to create a model curve. This can be useful when the curve has to follow a well-defined shape. Click on the parameters of your test, click on Debug, click on Start as if you were doing a classic test, define the points you are interested in, moving them with the mouse or by entering the coordinates in the table at the bottom right. Save this curve, perform a measurement, Any overshooting of the model will result in non-compliance. You can delete this curve model via the parameter menu.